96, 112, 56, 120, and 344. They all have something in common, and then the answers are talking about being divisible. So when you divide by, say, when you divide, like answer J, if you divide by 3, take all these numbers and divide by 3, if it's divisible by 3, it'll go into it evenly. You'll have no remainder. Okay? And since we're talking about 3, see the rule, the number 3 here and the number 6, there are 2 rules that we want to review with you. Actually, 3 rules. Let's talk about all these are even, so they're all divisible by 2. Let's talk about that for a minute. And then we'll talk about being divisible by 3 and by 6. And then we'll come back and apply these rules to these numbers here, okay? So let's talk about being divisible by 2. Now, if we're going to talk about being divisible by 2, let's list our 2's. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, all the way to 50 and beyond. But all these numbers are divisible by 2. They are multiples of 2. Now, what do you notice about all these numbers? They all are even, or they all end in a 2. Well, these end in a 2. These all end in a what? These all end in a 0, don't they? So if the last digit is, if it's not a 1, say, if it's a 1, then 2 won't go into it evenly. But if the last digit is a 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8, then it's even, and 2 goes into it, and there'll be no remainder. And that's the rule for 2. We only have to look at the last digit. Okay? Now, it's kind of interesting that we're talking about 2's, and we're talking about 2, 4, 6, or 8. If you talked about the 3's, also, let's test these out right now. Let's see. We have to look at the last digit here. It's not a 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8. Okay? The last digit is a 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8. So this number is divisible by 2. This is a 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8. And this is a 1, which is not 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8. So 2 does not go into this evenly. Now remember, for 2, we're talking about 2, 4, 6, or 8. What would you like to talk about for 3? Well, let's list our 3's. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, and so on all the way up to 72. Now remember the rule for 2, you were talking about 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8. What would you like to talk about when you talk about the 3's? Well, you'd say, I want to talk about a 3 or a 6 or a 9. Okay, 3, 6, or 9. The problem is the next one after that's a 12, and that's not a 3, 6, or a 9. Golly, oh gee, I wish this was a 3, don't you? I wish this was a 3. It's a 12, but it's not a 3. Well, what can you do with the digits 1 and 2 to get 3? What can you do with those to get 3? What do you do with 1 and 2 to get 3? Now, sometimes my students will call out, well, I'm going to add them. You can add 1 plus 2 to get 3. And I say, that's ridiculous. We're not adding when we're dealing with multiples. But you know what? I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway. So I make fun of my students for about 2 seconds, and I say, all right, we'll try your rule here. You're saying to add 1 plus 5, aren't you? And lo and behold, I get the second number in the list here. And 1 plus 8, you're going to get the 9. So you would expect 3, 6, 9. You would expect a 3 here, and that's what you get. 2 plus 1. 2 plus 4. You see the number after 3 is a 6. 2 plus 4. 2 plus 7. 3 plus 0. 3 plus 3. 3 plus 6. We're getting 3, 6, 9. 3, 6, 9. 3, 6, 9. And here we get 3 plus 9. What's 3 plus 9? So we broke the rule right there, except for one thing. What did I do with the 12 back over here? Did you not tell me to add 1 plus 2 to get 3? We had a 12. 3 plus 9 is 12, and you're adding 1 plus 2. You're coming up with a 3. Look, it's in order 2. 3, 6, 9. 3, 6, 9. 3. Here you're going to get 4 plus 2. 4 plus 5, 3, 6, 9. Here we're getting 4 plus 8, which is 12. But you got 12 here, 1 plus 2, 5 plus 1, 5 plus 4, 5 plus 7 is 12, so for 12 we write 3. 6 plus 0, 6 plus 3, 6 plus 6 is 12. For 12 we write 3. You're getting 15 here, aren't you? 6 plus 9 is 15. So it broke the rule again, huh? What did you do when you got 12 here? 6 plus 6 is 12. 1 plus 2? 6 plus 9 is 15. Look back, all the way back through our list back here to the 15. What did you do with 15? Well, what number do you expect to get after 3? 15 is 1 plus 5, which is 6, and 7 plus 2 is 9. So it looks like the rule for 3, we're dividing by 3, we're just adding up the digits. So, if the sum of the digits is a 3, 6, or a 9, okay, 1 plus 8, is that divisible by 3? Yes, it is. 1 plus 8. Okay. And 8 plus 4. And we already know what to do with that. And 5 plus 2 is 7 and 6. 7 plus 6. 5 plus 2 is 7 plus 6. 13. And then you're going to add 1 plus 3, aren't you? To get what? Which is 4, and that's not a 3, 6, or a 9, so this is a no. We need to get 3, 6, or 9 when we're done. Here we go. Now that's the rule for 3 here. Okay. Now the rule for 6. List all of our 6's up to a certain point. First of all, you're getting 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8, aren't you? What rule says you should get 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8? The rule for what? The first rule we had. The rule for what? They're even, so it's divisible by 2. And that's the first thing about the 6. Also, when you add them up, 1 plus 2 is, 1 plus 8 is, 2 plus 4 is, we're getting 3, 6, and 9, all these cases right here when you add them up. Look, let's do this one real quick. 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 plus 4 is 6. 1 plus 2 plus 0. 1 plus 2 is 3 plus 6. 1 and 3 is 4 and 2 is 6. We're getting 3, 6, or 9 on all these. So this was the rule. When you add them up and you got a 3, 6, or a 9, that was the rule for what? Not 2, but what? 3. So the rule for 6 says you got to it's got to work for 2 and 3. 6 is a combination of 2 rules. The one for 2 and 3. Now we have these numbers here. Now I know the rule for 3 and the rule for 6. The rule for 12, it's going to involve the rule for 3, isn't it? Huh? It's going to involve the rule for 3. So if it's not divisible by 3, it won't be divisible by 3 or by 6 or by 12, okay? The one that has nothing to do with the 3 is this one, okay? Remember, 12 is 4 times 3. So if 12 doesn't go in, if 3 doesn't go into it evenly, then 12 won't either. So we're going to test these numbers out for 3 first. If 3 doesn't work, it's going to eliminate this one, and this one. And then we'll have to test that number out, okay? So let's, divisible by 3, talking about this one, and that one. If it's divisible by 3, it might be divisible by all these. If it's not divisible by 3, we'll eliminate answer F, answer G, and answer J. Okay? So here we go. The rule for 3. Well, they're all even here. That's the rule for 6, so that doesn't really matter. See, 2 goes in all of these. You're not going to do anything with the rule for 2. The rule for 3, you add 9 plus 6. You get 15, and 1 plus 5. You get a 3, 6, or a 9. This is a yes. 3 goes into this evenly. Well, will 3 go into this? Let's see. 1 plus 1 plus 2. That's 4. 4 is not a 3, 6, or a 9, so no. 3 doesn't go into it. Okay? So going back here to this other slide back here. This number here is not divisible by 3. So since it's not divisible by 3, it's not going to be divisible by 3. Since this number is not divisible by 3, it's not going to be divisible by 6. Since this number is not divisible by 3, it's not going to be divisible by 12. So all I have to do is test each one of these numbers and see if 8 goes into them. Okay, and you're just going to have to divide them out for that. So this no right here eliminated most of the rules. So I have to test all of these numbers out for 8. Okay, 8 goes into 9. Subtract. 8 into 16. So 12 times 8 is 96. Okay, it's divisible because you get 0 for a remainder. Now take that number 112, divide that by 8. 8 goes into that once. Subtract. 8 goes into that 4 times. Subtract. 0. So it's divisible by 8. 56, well I know 7 times 8 is 56. So far 8 goes into these 3. How about 8 into 120? It goes 1 times 8 is 8. Subtract. Bring down the 0. 8 in the 40 is 5 times 8 is 40. So this is divisible by 8. The only one I have left to test now is the 344. 8 goes into that 4 times. 4 times 8 is 32. Subtract. 4 minus 2 is 2. Bring down the 4. 3 times 8 is 24. So 8 goes into all of these numbers. All of these numbers are divisible by what? 8. The answer is F.